Hey friends, welcome back. So we're at the end of 2024 and I figured we'd sneak in one last beat making session. I'm going to use the P6, which is my favorite piece of gear from the year, though the Polyend Synth right over here is a close contender, but it was too recent to really say. But we're going to make a beat, and here on the channel we've made a beat every single week. So I want to share some of the tips and lessons I've learned along the way, and I think we'll start that talking about sampling and making the samples, because I've been working on this new method, for me at least, of creating samples just so that it's samples I make rather than trying to find samples and things like that. So let me know what you've been up to, what your favorite piece of gear was in 2024. Like I said, I think mine's the P6, as we'll get into, but I'm going to try and share my screen because I want to show Logic. So hopefully this works. I had some weird issues. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is actually these session players in Logic. So Logic, I think this year with Logic 11 released these session players, and they added this year, beyond just the drummers, some piano and things like that. And they're okay, but I've learned a couple of things to kind of make the most of them. So I just want to quickly share them. So these are the samples that we're going to work with today. And just let me know if in the chat, if everything's coming through all right. But this is what we're gonna do. So if I were to just make a new session player, which we'll do real quick just to show you, we'll do a piano, and here you'll see if I solo it, it just comes up with this very basic sound. And the secret here to get a lot more control is to go over to the chords and change it to any chord progression of the ones they give. Once you do that, you can actually go into each single bar, or you can cut it and get even more detailed. But if you double tap each chord, you get all of these. Hopefully that's coming through. Yeah, all of these options. So you can make chords, you can borrow chords. Like I set this to C minor, but I actually borrowed a C major at the start of, or it might have been a dominant, I don't even remember. But you can choose all of these different chords, and then that turned into this piano. And then if we go over to effects, I'm going to mute that other piano, or actually just delete it because we don't need that. But if we go into effects, the last thing that I wanted to do, because I want it to kind of sound like vinyl, right? I really like sampling from vinyl, but one, you don't want to deal with, copyright if you're intending to release a track. But two, this gives you all the control you want. And even if you don't play an instrument or something, you can do this sort of stuff. But once I made the track, I'll shut off the effects that I added. This was the sound. It's okay. So I added Valhalla Supermassive, which is a free plugin, to just get a little kind of delay or reverb, really. And then the secret here is adding Dr. Vibe from Sketch Audio, which emulates kind of like the SP202 and 303. You get all of these different settings for how gritty you want to make it. So without it, I'll play it. It's all right. With it, listen to the wobble we could get, and all of the different bit depths and distortions and things like that. So I actually did that to every instrument. So I'll play the 4 without Dr. Vibe, and then we'll check out the difference that it makes once we add it. So this is it without it. It's cool, but listen to the drums. I mean, that makes such a difference on the drums. I'll solo those drums so you can hear just those two without Dr. Vibe, with. So I just moved that into the P6, and that is the samples that we're going to use. So for me, this is a great way. Like, I can play guitar, I could record samples, piano, whatever. But if I need to do something quickly, which this year I became a parent, so I don't have a lot of time, this is a way to just kind of get an idea, get a sample, and then throw it into the P6 and start, and then I can always add instruments later. So it's really been a great way for me to just kind of like make music quickly, and that's kind of been the lesson here, the overarching lesson of 2024, is just get in, make ideas really quickly, and go from there. Have you guys messed with these session players at all before or anything like that? Let me know. But I like, unlike certain like AI websites or things like that, you can get, at least for me, really finer details of choosing chords, getting the color with 9ths, 7ths, 11ths, things like that. But anyways, let's get started with the P6. So we're gonna start chopping, and this is really one of the main reasons why the P6 has become a favorite of mine. How quickly we can chop. So there is. Oh, did we lose our? Oh, we're in MIDI. That's why I was like, hold up, I gotta shut off all of those other sounds. Okay, here, that should work. There's our drums. Okay. I was like, hold on a second, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, so I had it set to session player, so these were actually MIDI notes, which is just bizarre, but it is useful, I suppose, if you need it. Anyways, we've got these drums. So I'm going to go to Shift Voice, and we're going to go over to Chop. And just like that, if we do, let's say probably 32 chops, because there's quite a few. This is a full 4 bars or whatever. So if we go in here, hit keyboard, here we go. And we could make this poly, which I also really like, because we could do. But I don't know if we'll even need that. I'm actually going to program some of these drums. So we'll do, let's say that for the kick. And then we'll put the snare on the 2 and 4. I think it was E. Yeah. Let's go back over here. And then we need hi-hats, and we'll do that. Let's say here. Let's program those in actually first. We got to go to the note. And let's do, I think it's D. No, maybe it's D. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I actually really like that. Let's put another hat here, because we're also going to do another hat on top of it. I always forget it's like the very first one, but that should work. And let's do one more right here on D. Perfect. Okay. Other couple things we'll do. We'll kind of expand this idea as we go. I want to get a basic beat down and then we'll start, but I do want to do a little off time. We'll put these a bit off and we'll do a little velocity. This one we can drop the velocity on this kick, and we'll take this one a bit off time. We'll kind of pull these two back a little bit. And then where's the other hat? Probably this one. And we might take some of those snares off as well. Maybe this snare will take off a little bit, a little forwards. Okay, I like that. I think we'll put that hi-hat on top, but before we do that, I do want to figure out some piano. Yeah, let's go to the piano. 3. And we'll chop this up. I'm gonna do just chops of 8. Oh yeah, let's drop it down maybe 4. Yeah, I always like bringing our melodic sounds down about 4. And I might actually take that drum down 1. That should work. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's get that piano. Yeah, okay. I think we got something there. I'm going to just record this 1 bar first, and then I think we'll duplicate it and maybe change things around a little bit. I'm hearing, I want something different in that 4th bar, but I'd rather just get one down and then we'll make some velocity changes or something. So let's record that in. I almost want lo-fi on. And let's change the amount. So I really kind of want maybe right here, that first note again, and drop the velocity. Almost, maybe. Okay, what I think we'll do is use that sometimes and sometimes not. We could even do the probability, I suppose, but let's just, let's put this, is this even, yeah, the quantize is on. Okay, what I think we'll do first is let's duplicate this twice. So we got to go, well, we'll turn on some shuffle first, actually, maybe like 47%. And, oh, you can hear those kicks are now, because of the shuffle, just like almost muted because of it. Let's try a little less shuffle. Those kicks are gone if we take the shuffle up. Yeah, if we up the shuffle anything over like 10, the 2 kicks are gone. All right, so we'll do just like 4. That should work. It's all right. Okay, so then we need to duplicate this pattern. So we're gonna hit Shift Copy and go to Duplicate, and we're gonna duplicate it one more time so it's 4 bars. And that should give us, yep, our 4 bars. So then in this one, I'm gonna go over to the piano here, and we'll undo that because I want this kind of fourth. Let's hear what it sounds like. Let's just record something. We can change it later. Not my favorite thing, but let's see what quantize did. No, I don't like that. Let's go in and change that. I just need like a good, maybe that could work. Let's try that. Let's see how that sounds. There we go, perfect. All right, Samuel asks, what does the shuffle do? Swing? Yeah, it adds swing, and we might go back to it. The only thing that it was doing was, I think because I have here these 2 kicks right next to each other, when we add that shuffle and get that swing, it's blending those 2 together. And even though I have this set to poly, I mean, we don't want 2 kicks hitting right at the same time anyways, but it kind of catches, and so it's only doing 1. I'd like to have the shuffle, so we might move things around a little bit, especially once we have the bass. I always like to have the kick lock in with the bass, so we'll see. But let's check out what we've got. What I think we will do, though, is go in and maybe change some of these, like take that one off and put a third one there, let's say, and we'll go with a bit lower velocity and take off the time. I think it's also because we did micro timing to those 2. So maybe if we twist that around a little bit, we can get that, because I would really like to get some shuffle on it. It's going to add a nice sound to it. Let's go in and just add maybe 2 kicks. I don't know how this will sound, but I want a little some like change in that final bar. And I might change some of this. Yeah, that works. Okay, let's check out real quick on that shuffle since we were talking about it. Let's go to the timing. We'll leave that one where it is. This one is early, so we'll push that one off the grid a little bit. And then if we add shuffle, let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, here I was just gone. But if I lower the shuffle, then we're good. So I guess we'll leave it at that then. Okay, I'm just kind of hearing where we want to go next. I want to get these hi-hats in. Definitely get like a the open hi-hat for sure. That's going to add a little more groove. But I think first we'll do bass. So I added a lot of high end to this bass, hopefully so that if you're watching like on a phone or something, you'll hear it. But if you don't, let me know. I'll try to, I can add lo-fi, but I don't know how much more lo-fi we want to go. I put it to like 8-bit on Dr. Vibe. Okay, so from there, let's chop this one up. We'll also do 8. We need to go to shift voice, chop, and we'll do 8. And let me get back to here. All right, let's see. So if we go here, yeah, I like that. Let's put that in. I'm gonna let it go through one more time. I hit the wrong notes in that fourth one, so we'll redo that. But otherwise, I think that's pretty solid. Let's hear. Quantize almost is not wanted. I like that slide on that third bar. Though I want to fix though some of those. Let's see what happens if we shut off that. Yeah, I like that better. Let's take those off. Yeah, that works. Okay, that should work. Add a little cassette. Take the bass down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to shut off the quantize and we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to add these hi-hats on top and then probably tone them down a little bit. Let's go. Okay, I think that'll work. We just need to take the volume down. I want these pretty quiet. We're gonna add lo-fi, and I'm gonna take that lo-fi down a bit. Another nice thing with the P6, the lo-fi setting is different for every single pad. Okay, that should work. Then let's go in and just change this a little bit. Almost like it better without that hi-hat, just leave the open one in. Let's take that hi-hat out and just leave the open one in, and I think that's gonna work better. And where else? Here. That should work. And we'll put that one here, take that one off. Put that one there. Okay, I think we pretty much have a decent start to the beat. Nice change up a little bit too, so that should work. Okay, cool. So I think next up, just finding the key we're in. Okay, so we have that little piano sound that is from my Volca. That's backwards, but this Volca. I think what we'll do real quick is just use some Granular, because really the way I've learned to work after having a kid, there's not a lot of time and there's very little time in the studio, so having a portable sampler is the key. But it's just kind of building one thing at a time, what I like to call like a micro moment. Just like today, build a loop, and then the next time I can get in the studio, it would be expand that loop, kind of make B sections, A sections, all that type of stuff, and then slowly it turns into a song, and there you go. So that's what I think we'll do, is just keep building this loop. I just like to stack as many sounds as I can, and then when I'm building the song later, I can just take things out, and that's kind of how I create the structure. So we'll do that. We're gonna take this little piano, which I think is very truncated. Yeah. And I think that's going to work really well. We've used this in other live streams too, but you got to make the most of what you got, especially when there's only, what, 48 pads on this. So we're going to choose this sound for the Granular. I'm going to take the volume down a little bit. And then I don't even know if we need to make much change to the pad. I like that already. Let's see if we can do a little change to the Granular engine. I might need to pull up my P6 cheat sheet because it's been a minute since I've worked with it. And if you want to get the cheat sheet, I have a link in the description. It's got everything you need to know about the P6, all of the shortcuts, Granular engine shortcuts, what everything means, navigating this tiny little machine. But links in the description, and channel members at the Sunsinger tier and above get it for free. But let's go. I don't think we want a lot of spread. Yeah, let's leave that there. Grains. That sounds cool. You can almost get kind of like a guitar strumming. So this sample is doing an octave. It's going from A to a higher A. So we can kind of use that to our advantage to create a sort of like speed picking or something on the... There we go. We can change the length and stuff too, but I like where that's going. Grain size. That's going to kind of control how fast we're getting that, like, da-da-da-da-da. I like that. We'll do a little grain reverse, so some of the grains will play backwards. TNJ, I'm not going to mess with. This one, we'll put to 0, the key follow. What else? I think that's pretty much everything we're gonna need. I think we'll stick with that. Let's hear it. Yeah, I like that. We'll put that in just real quick in the chat. B. Jamison's birth is there. It says P6, yes sir. Man, Roland needs to add this stuff to the SP404. Did you get another SP? I know you've bought and sold it. I agree. I'm actually going to make a video soon talking about some things I'd love to see in the SP. Because there's a lot. I mean, it's a really awesome sampler, but there's so much they could add that would just make it like basically the perfect sampler. But yeah, the P6 really surprised me this year. It's like a lot of the stuff I was hoping I'd see on the SP, and bam, they just throw it in this. So it's good and bad in that sense. All right, but yeah, put in the chat what your favorite gear this year was. I'm curious because like I had someone in the comments mention the Digitac 2 and Digitone 2, and I get that. I get that for sure, but there's been a lot of gear this year. It's been a cool year for gear, so I'd love to hear what gear you've bought, you know, and did anything surprise you? Has anything kind of upset, or not upset, but like changed your workflow? Like this has changed how I'm working, you know? So, yeah. All right, let's throw this in and we'll start playing. Did I have quantize on? Okay, cool. Okay, we're gonna go in and fine tune these drums a little bit. We're in the wrong, there we go. So I wanna go in and just kind of change some sounds around a little bit. We could almost, since we're in poly, we could record these on top, but then we might have to undo it if we mess up, and that won't be fun. Yeah, B. Jamison's birth says OPXY is still my favorite gear this year, but the bugs are wild and lack of true sample chopping. Yeah, I haven't checked that out a ton. I've seen like DiBiase doing some crazy stuff on his YouTube. It looks awesome for sure, but I didn't want to look into it too much because I feel like I would just want it. I can't do that right now, so I was like, let's hold off a little bit. So yeah, I held off on that one. I'll probably check it out in the new year just to see kind of what it's doing and stuff, but it does look pretty cool. A place I work at where I teach music and guitar at has the OP1, so I'm looking to just kind of use that a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, so I want to get back to these drums. But yeah, post up in the chat whatever gear caught your eye this year, what you've been looking at. Did anybody else get the P6? I know I made a lot of videos with it, and a lot of people have commented about, you know, using it. Or it's funny, I've heard some people say it's got a really complicated workflow to learn, and others saying it's not. I think I fall in closer to that it does have a complicated workflow, because it's kind of intimidating when you first look at it with all of these options, but there's so much in there that it's just awesome. Alistair's also in the chat, says hi. What's going on, Alistair? How you doing? All right, we've got our track. Oh yeah, we're doing the kick. I lost track of where I was. Let's do 2 kicks here, and we might add some hi-hats or something. I'm gonna take off the time a little bit here. Since we're not getting shuffle, I'm going to just change that a little bit and maybe adjust the time here. No, actually, let's do that one there. And we'll drop that velocity a lot and then take that one off time a little bit too. And then that one, I don't want both of those. Let's hear that now. Let's put one kick maybe here. Let's hear what that sounds like. Oh, I got an idea. We'll do that. So I'm just kind of fine-tuning my drums, because one thing I've found this year is tiny changes to timing, velocity, and just variation in the pattern make a huge difference in the end result of the track. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then so were we on? Oh, we're gonna need that snare. Yeah, that messed it up. Almost kind of cool though. That almost worked. But we'll leave that. Maybe we'll put a kick here because I kind of like the sound of that. Yeah, there we go. And we'll do one more kick here. And Samuel says, is that SQRL01? I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up in a second. We'll check it out in a second. Let me get to the other chats. BJamin says, Digitac 2 needs manual chopping and better polyphony. What about the polyphony don't you like? Not enough polyphony, or is there something in how it's done? Because I thought what's really cool is, from what I know about the Digitac 2, I only have, if you can see it, the Digitac 1 is you can make any of the 16 channels like yeah, because it's only 4 voices, right? Still, I don't think they up the voices. Maybe that's what you're talking about. That is a huge thing. But you can kind of get around it by using multiple channels. But if you're doing like synths, that might not be the most fun. Elsewhere in the chat, Alistair says, almost like P6 was only piece of gear worth keeping. Because BJamin says, P6 for the price has been my favorite gear of the year. I'm with you 100%. I think a late contender for me is the... I keep thinking I'll show that one, but the Polyend Synth. This thing has been pretty awesome. The last live stream we did was with this. I'll do a full review though, and kind of like my full thoughts in the new year, probably in 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, I mean, there's so much crammed into this tiny little P6 that it's like for $220 bucks, I think it's crazy. I just hope we see some updates, because there are some things I would like to see updated, as we talked about a couple live streams ago. All right, I think we're on this last bar. Let me just check this out. Yeah, I like that. I do still want... I'm still hearing like a hi-hat. Let me just... I'm still hearing like it needs another hi-hat. Let's go in here and just do... This is the one thing that drives me crazy with the the P6 is we're gonna have to do all of these things manually if I want to change it. And unlike the Digitac, I can't just go in and change multiple at once. I know there's a way to quickly change velocity, but I want it to be kind of uneven so that it's a little more human. But if we wanted to do timing changes, that's just gonna be annoying. Let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then maybe we'll add like a substep. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to dig all of this, but I just want a little more momentum to this sound. The kick was doing it, but I want a little more. Now that's just gone. So let's up that 26 velocity. Yeah, that's not the most. Let's try that. Do one here. Low velocity. And get that substep. Do all 4. Whoop. Here we go. Sorry you can't see it. I'm trying to get all 4 here and it doesn't want to do it. Let's just do... These are some weird substeps options. Let's do that, I guess. Okay, and then we'll go into the second one. We have to do this all over again. I should have done this before we started moving over, but that's all right. I'll get back to the chat in a second. Unfortunately, this kind of requires me to look at what I'm doing, but it will or should be worth it in the end. We'll add one here with some substep, and that's a weird substep, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna kind of throw things at it and see what happens. Let's do another one. Let's hear what we got. Right here. I'm just hearing where I want a little more something, and that's where I'm going to add these. They don't all have to be substeps either. Yeah, see, like that one works not being a substep. I just want to take the volume down a little bit, and then maybe we'll throw that here as well. Kind of a repeating pattern. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then I want to do the same thing. So I think we did G and B and C sharp. Okay, so on the 4th one, I want to do that same thing. One of the my least favorite parts though about the P6 workflow is this. When you want to start adding variety and things like that, oh man, is it slow. But that's all right. So we'll get there, but it just takes a second. So let's drop the velocity here. We'll do a little more velocity because this is the 4th bar. Timing goes off, substep. Let's do that one. And then we did, I think I already put them in, yeah. All right, let's lower the velocity just a little bit. No substep there. Lower the velocity here, but not as much. And then you know what? Let's just do everything on this. Drop the velocity though. This one can be louder. I want that substep to kind of lead into our next part. Maybe like that. And then this one will drop down even more. Yeah, Alistair says P6 needs more sequence time without flipping to 8 steps. I hear you. I mean, I think given what's in here, that there has to be some limitations, I guess. But yeah, that this is like, we have this awesome step sequencer that is better than what's on the 404, but it comes at a cost with how like tiny and the memory of this thing and all that. So I guess it's trade-offs and whatnots, but you know, it works. It's just like in this, it's really slows down moving forward, and just in like a live stream context, it's always kind of a bummer because you want to keep going, you know, but we can't. We have to kind of slow this down. And then, like I said, if we could just hold multiple notes like on the Digitac, then change it at the same time. I don't know why that's not actually a thing. It's like that really would solve a lot of problems, at least for me. But, you know, it is what it is. So we have to work with what we got. And I guess it shows the workflow. So if you use or want the P6, this is kind of what you have to deal with. Are there choke groups? That's a good question. I don't think there are, but you can kind of do it if you multi-sample into a single pad. There might be choke groups. I'm blanking, but if anybody knows in the chat, let us know. But what you can do is you can multi-sample into individual pads. So you can actually, instead of 48 pads, you know, across these, you can put multiple things like we did with these drums, and then you can set it to mono and you can choke that way. Like I'll show you in a second, Zhao. Hopefully I said your name right. Sorry if I did not. But let me just finish this and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. I just want to get a couple more. This is the 3rd bar, I think. I'm like losing track of where we are. Oh, there are choke groups. Great. Okay. We do not need that loud of a hi-hat. Okay, that should work. A little less on this hi-hat. Maybe drop the pitch on this hi-hat. Yeah, I like that lower pitch better. Perfect. Okay, so we could mute the hi-hat. Maybe just take it down a little more. Yeah, one thing, these headphones don't have a lot of high end, so the hi-hats might be really loud. If they are, let me know. I'll drop them a little bit, because I always find afterwards, I'm like, man, those hi-hats are pretty loud. I don't like loud hi-hats. I'd rather they be super quiet than super loud. There are mute groups, yeah, so there are. But one thing, what I like to do to avoid kind of, if you know the mute groups, I'm just blanking, so let us know how to do it. But like I was saying, in here, if we go to the keyboard, if you set this to mono, so I have multi-sample in the sense that I chopped a sample into multiple chops. Otherwise, you could get, you can just record in multiple sounds at once. There's a way to do that with recording as well. But if I were to hit, actually, let's go to the piano, because we have the piano set to mono. See, if I just let it play, we have all of this. But instead, I can go, and it cuts, it chokes it all. But if I switch it to poly, it's all gonna play at once, which is just chaos. Oh yeah, there we go. Turn the dial to mute group. Okay, so that's an easy way to do it if you want it. I don't really need it for this because I've kind of done it in a way where I'm using like each pad as a choke group when I need it to. But yeah, thanks Alistair and BJam. And so you go to shift voice. I'll show you real quick just so we can check it out. But shift voice, and then we need to find, what was it? I hate this little for, is this it? Yeah, mute group. Yeah, there we go. So if we turn that on, we can set those. I'm not going to turn that on though, but there you go. Appreciate that, chat. Always good to work together on these things. Okay, I pretty much think now we've got our track. Just raising the bass a little bit. Oh, one thing we can do though is in the bass, I'd like bass and piano, I'd like to get a sort of side chain if I can. So I think what we'll do is go into, we're going to start kind of mixing now, but we'll go into, is it voice or is it, yeah, we need some envelopes and stuff. So we're going to go and do some attack. So if we up it all the way, the bass is just gone now. But what it's going to do is add some ducking almost every time it's played. So it's not true sidechain, but it's at least going to help sit under the kick when the kick and the bass hit. I think about 40 is nice. And then let's also get that. So you can probably hear it better with the piano. It's just gone if I up it, right? Now you can kind of hear it. That gives it a little more bounce, even if it's not true sidechain. We're kind of cheating, and I'd love to see sidechain on both this and the SP, but since we're just maybe never going to get that, I don't know. Hopefully, at least on the SP, but this at least gives the kind of facade of it. I don't want too much though on that piano because it does hit more frequent. I think we can also throw it on the Granular. Let's check. Yeah, we got attack here too. We'll just put a little bit. I like that. Okay. Last thing we need to do, we can go into the piano and we can use the filter to take out a little bit of low end. Let's go actually to high pass filter, not band pass. And we're gonna go here. So if I up it, it's just like only high end. But I'm just using this to cut out some low end frequency that's just not needed. BGM has got to go. No worries, man. Great to see you. Thanks for dropping by. So with the high pass filter, we're taking out low end. So that is going to help us clean up this mix a little bit. Now we're going to go over to the bass, and I'm actually going to test one thing really quick. If we do the same thing and do a high pass filter, but add a ton of resonance, we can emphasize the low end rather than cut it. Now this might be super loud, so just prep your ears in case. We find the kind of, there it is. You find where the resonance kind of peaks, and it's gonna amplify that right before it cuts. So if I were to shut this off, it just loses some oomph, but let's put it back on. Now there's some more low end coming in. All right, I think that's pretty much everything we need for this track. Oh, we can just do some effects. Let's do some send effects. I think, yeah, let's go in and add a little reverb and delay to this piano chop. So we'll go send delay, we'll add a little bit. I always like to make it like warped and dusty, so the more effects you kind of get on there, the better in my opinion. And since we have these and we don't on the SP, I figure we'll use it. So let's go to time. And now we have a lot more stereo sound just by doing that one simple little thing. I think we'll stick with 8, dotted 8. What I do want though is to take out some high and low end on that delay. Definitely take a lot of low end out. And we'll do the same with the reverb. Take out a lot of that mud on it. I love that we have a high and low cut on the reverb and delay here. Okay, lastly, we could experiment throwing on some reverb on the bass. Gotta see, I can't remember if we get delay and reverb on the, yeah, we do on Granular. So let's throw that on. Now the one catch of these send effects is they're after the performance effects. So if I were to do something like looper, hear how you're still hearing the piano and the Granular? That's because that's just the send sounds you're hearing. So if we do a filter, you're still hearing everything, which is a serious bummer. Like, I would love to see at least the ability to route where the send is. I don't know why that's the case, unfortunately, but it is, so we just have to deal with it. So that's why when I would finish a track like this, like we talked about, I start on the P6. Like, it's portable. If I have a couple minutes, I can make a beat, and then I move it either to the SP or to the DAW and then finish it. You can't send stems, but you could just individually like mute everything else and send a loop into either and then do it, or you could record into a DAW like Logic and stem split it. I've done a whole video on that. I can link it when this is done, but yeah, so I think that's pretty much our beat. Let me just check if there's anything else. We could, yeah, we could copy the pattern a couple times. I think I'll show just how to do that because it's kind of a weird way to copy patterns on here. And then you could do different mutes because the mutes are per pattern, which is nice. But first, let's save this. There we go. Don't want to cause any issues there, but yeah, let's build a couple. We'll think about arrangement. I've discussed before, I don't really like to arrange on the P6. I typically just rely on the mutes, and since we're in just one bank, we could totally do that. But we're getting to a new year. Let's try something new. So I'll show you how to pattern or copy a pattern. So let me show you how to copy a pattern real quick, and we'll do that. So if you go to Shift Copy and then hit Pattern, you can choose whichever one. I'm gonna just double check which pattern I'm actually on. I think it's yeah, 211. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll hit Shift Copy, hit Pattern, and we're gonna move it to 212. And you just use this dial to change it. So we'll just throw it there. We're gonna do it again and put it on 213, and then one more time on 214. And then let's check out what kind of sounds we have, and then I'm gonna decide what I want to mute on those and things of that sort. So we start with this, and I think we end on this one. Yeah. So this would be our kind of build, the 211. So if we get into the track, we'll mute, let's say, just everything but the piano. The other option we could do is, since we made different patterns, we could go in and just delete all of the steps on everything else. That would be a little cleaner because I kind of want to do like a snare hit, but oh, we don't have this sound. We need to throw that sound in real quick. Well, we'll get to it. When we get to the last bar or the last copy, we'll do that. So from there though, let's move over to the next pattern. Here, everything's unmuted now. It's per pattern, the mutes. So we'll just do, let's say, just the drums. Okay, and then we'll bring in here the bass and hi-hats, let's say. No Granular. And then the last one, everything's playing, and I want to get this. We have this last sound, so let's just do something. Maybe we can get like a couple of interesting little chops. Yeah, let's chop that up. Let's do 32 voices on it and we'll see what we get. Let's go to 30. We could even do 64. Okay. So if we go into the keyboard, it's pretty quiet, unfortunately. That could be something. These keys are so tiny though, it's not the most fun to perform on. Yeah, that'll work. Something just quiet, add some ghost notes in the background when we get to the end. I just want to barely hear it. I think that works. So I think with that, we'll call that song done. We've got our patterns. We start on A or A sharp. There's no pattern chaining on the P6, so we're just gonna have to perform the patterns as we go. Before we do the jam though, I just wanna ask, what's everybody been up to near this end of the year? What are you looking forward to in 2025 for music making? Are you gonna change your workflow, keep it the same? I think I'm gonna change up my workflow. I'm gonna rebuild this DAWless setup that I like built right before my son was born, like a year and a half ago or something. And then I've had no time to kind of be in here. So it's just devolved into like isolated samplers or one couple of pieces of gear and things like that. So I really want to rebuild it and then set up a new live streaming way to kind of have multi-camera and things like that. So I can use the synths and then move it to samplers and things like that. So that's what I want to get back into. But let me know in the chat what you're looking forward to in 2025 for your setup. You're going to get some new gear, change things around, keep it the same. Let me know. With that though, I think we'll start this jam. I got to just think kind of effects now. So we have, where's isolator? I would love 2 bus effects on this, but I know we don't have it, so we won't. But I would probably add, if I was running this into the SP, like bus 3 and 4 to just get some cassette sim or something. But I think we'll start maybe with, actually, since we don't have the drums to start, we'll start with the filter, bring it up, then we'll switch and just kind of go from there. So let's get, we've got looper, just setting all of my effects so that I don't have to worry about it later. Let's do a quarter, dotted quarter should work actually for the delay. Scatter, we can leave at 1. There we go. Okay. And we've got isolator primed. I think we got all the patterns. Let's do this then, starting with the filter. That's the problem with these send effects. When we try to go, the sends are still at this normal pitch. But I think that's the jam. I think we got it there. With that, it's been awesome hanging out with you. I do have some new merch. The new Spacebound t-shirt, which I actually have on. I'll show you it in a second. Hold on. But if you want to check it out. Yeah, it reminds me of a Jane's Addiction riff. Yeah, there we go. There's something in that track. I think I would definitely move it over to the SP or the DAW. Could even actually just perform it and then stem split it. But yeah, I like that track. So if we just hold on a second, because I want to show you the new Spacebound shirts that we have. But yeah, there's something in that track for sure. I definitely want to expand on it. I love the P6 workflow. It's so quick. There's nothing like just getting an idea down and then jamming it out. And if you just record with your DAW, you can always stem split it, have your isolated stems. And there's definitely something with that workflow. I've been using it actually for releases. I'm planning to do a release of like my favorite tracks we made on the channel this year. Here's the new shirt though, Spacebound shirt. So if you want to check it out, the link should be in the chat, but it's just sunwarper.com. You can go to the shop. You can also find my P6 cheat sheet there with all types of stuff you need to know for the P6. Every step or every setting for the Granular engine is right there. But yeah, I dig the track. I want to see though, let's just check real quick. We'll save it. I've made a lot of tracks on the P6 and I had a lot of fun with it. I think, wow, we got to fix that pitch though. I think I would love though, like adding some oomph with like cassette sim on there. It just like brings everything together more. But yeah, I think with that we're good. If you want to check out the new shirt, head to sunwarper.com/shop. I've also got hats and all that type of stuff. But yeah, let me know. You got any plans for 2025? I want to release either an EP or an album of all of the songs or my favorite songs that we made. This one might be in there. This is a pretty cool track. I just have to finish it. But I'm thinking February of getting a release out. It's crazy though right now. Like Spotify, it just came out that Spotify has been putting, which I don't think was a surprise to anyone that's been keeping up with Spotify, but putting like pseudonyms and things like that to fill up playlists for less money. And then they've done all this stuff with streaming royalties to lessen it for their payouts to artists. They've blocked any song under 1,000 streams within a year won't get payouts. And then they added books, audiobooks, to lessen the royalty payout they have to pay to artists. So it's a weird time we're in right now. So that's why one thing I've really loved this year is this channel and hang out with all of you in these live streams and on the videos, because I don't know, it's like I almost don't want to release music on those platforms anymore because it just feels so exploitative. Like the what was it, the exposure, right? The whole thing with like live shows and things like that. And I don't know, so I've really enjoyed doing these. It seems like a different era almost of music release. I don't know, do you feel the same? Let me know in the chat, because it's been so strange. Like I released an album at the start of the year and then I've just been like kind of thinking, oh, how do I want to do the next release? And then YouTube keeps doing well and it's like awesome, the community we have here that we're building and all that. So I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm curious if anybody feels the same. Release a cassette. I would love to, Samuel, but that's a lot of overhead and front end that I don't know if it would sell. And I have CDs that still sit here from years ago that I know CDs and cassette are different. I've done vinyl. I've sold some vinyl and things like that. I would love to do cassette. I'm looking into it because you can do like lower runs, like 20 and stuff, but it is still front end that I just don't have at the moment. But that would be cool, especially with this, because we did a lot of lo-fi type of stuff. I'm thinking 4 tracks for sure that I might release on like Spotify and things like that, just to be on there, because you can still, I don't want to punish people who like my music on there because I get a lot of streams and things, but it's like I want to do something special for those that go to Bandcamp or to the website or something. Yeah, got to make our own industries. I know even like something like YouTube is a massive company, right? So, you get a lot of reach on these things, which is nice, but then you are beholden to these platforms and things. So it's strange in that way. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to do something, make it where it's like special when you go to buy it on Bandcamp or something like that. Like I'm thinking maybe 4 tracks for streaming and then like 8 tracks for like physical and that. And the only problem is I'm planning February and I haven't even started because, like I said, as a parent right now, there's a little time. But I've got all these jams and I do full jams of these for channel members after the streams end. So I have all these jams. I'm thinking like throw it in Logic, stem split it, and then, to kind of mix it a little better and stuff and release it that way. Yeah, try 50 run vinyl crowdfunder. I think the only thing with vinyl, most places have to do 100. I found a place that does, let me see if I can, since we're not doing much with the P6 at the moment, I think I can, well, that's kind of cut off. I don't know if that looks any better. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so we can talk a little more. Only thing with vinyl is most places want to do 100. Not 50. I haven't found places that do 50 unless it's lathe cut vinyl, which I found a place that does lathe cut vinyl on demand, and I've done that, and I don't know if I have, is the golden hour vinyl. I had it in here, but I did that. That went really well. But I want something like true quality. The lates aren't the best quality. Cassette seems like a good way to go though, Samuel. It's just like, I don't know if I want to do the front end, but maybe there's a crowdfunding way to do that. But I'd love to hear you guys. What are you looking at for the releases this year? Are you planning any releases? Do you feel the same? Because it's just been a weird time where it's like, I just don't know where I want to go with it, right? And I love having this channel here because that's kind of my stable base, and then I want to explore. And then it's like a lot of the music I make as Sunwarper is like ambient guitar stuff. A lot of what we make here is beats. So, you know, kind of different, but kind of the same, I guess. I don't know. There's lots of things we could do and stuff. But yeah, I do want to do more physicals in the new year. That's something. Have any of you put out physicals? Let me know in the chat. But I think with that, we'll just see real quick. Here's the track we made. I just want to run through maybe a couple of other tracks. If we go to our patterns into, what have we got? This was the first track I made with it, but oh yeah, we're going to run into a problem. I deleted bank A, the main drums. So a lot of this was like, this was the kick snare. And so a lot of these songs actually use it. So I don't think we could play any. I needed these tracks and I was like, just delete these. And then I realized what I did. I was like, oh man. But anyways, I think we'll call it there. Yeah, Samuel says, my friend did this vinyl crowdfunding on Bandcamp. They do crowdfunding. I think they need 200, which is just crazy. I might be wrong. They might have lowered it since they got bought by Epic and then Songtrader. But yeah. All right. I think with that, though, we're going to end it. It's been awesome hanging out with you. I hope you had an incredible Christmas, holidays, all of that. And we're looking into the new year. So I'm going to be back. I'm switching back to once a week. Doing releases twice a week was like way too much. And I'm going to alternate between live sets or live streams on Saturday and then a video the next Saturday. So it'll be video, then live stream, video, then live stream. Yeah, I was trying to do like a video and a live stream each week, but it's just way too much. And I think I like this workflow better because I feel like I can kind of get everything down. So yeah, and then in February, I am looking to release some of these tracks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll talk about it on here, of course. But it's been great hanging out with you. I hope you have an incredible New Year's. And yeah, if you're watching this back, comment, or if you're in the chat when this ends, comment below what you're looking forward to in 2025. Is there a certain piece of gear or a workflow you're looking for? I really like this workflow, and I think I want to talk more in the new year about taking these ideas and just stem splitting to mix to just get it done quicker instead of like getting stuck in the option paralysis of, you know, moving individual stems or something like that. But anyways, it's been great hanging out with you. I will see you. I'm going to just make this smaller for the next time because I'm going to forget and then it's going to be all wonky. But yeah, I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.